every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello, thank you for joining us on CoreTV News at prime time. I am Frank Komalape. Our top stories tonight. President Muhammadu Buhari has charged the Federal Ministry of Health to sustain the current level of vigilance, especially in the fight against Ebola virus. Also in this program, Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode approved the termination of concession granted by the Lagos State Development and Property Corporation. And CoreTV News remembers Stella Ameyo Adadevo for her service in preventing the spread of Ebola virus. And outside Nigeria, police have released a sketch of the main suspect, a man in a yellow T-shirt, at the Thailand blast. Thank you for joining us tonight. President Muhammadu Buhari has charged the Federal Ministry of Health to sustain the current level of vigilance, especially in the fight against Ebola virus. The president gave the directive at a closed-door meeting with the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Health at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Buhari also wants the health authorities to ensure that Nigerians get the best medical care with less stress. And now, Stella Adadevo was Nigeria's Ebola doctor who died August 19, 2014 after contracting the Ebola virus disease in an attempt to keep the Indes patients, Patrick Sawyer, confined to the First Consultant Hospital in Lagos where she worked. She is being remembered by CoreTV News after a year of her passage in recognition of her selfless service to the nation. Our correspondent Emmanuel Ajayi has details in this report.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Amazing grace.
Ameyo Stella Shade Adadevo, born 27th October 1956, died 19th August 2014, was a Nigerian physician. She was credited to having prevented a wider spread of Ebola virus disease in Nigeria by placing the patient Patrick Sawyer in quarantine despite pressures from the Nigerian government. Nigerians have this tribute to say about her.
For somebody to discover that kind of disease, I'll see such a person as a professional, than somebody that is fervent at her work. And whatever award she has merited, I would say she deserves it.
She has tried a lot by giving her life on behalf of everybody here in Nigeria, and again, I'm thanking God that the thing didn't spread like we people think it will be.
She has tried constantly, but I would say we thank God for her life, for not allowing this disease to spread out. Because as much as you allow the disease to spread out, I don't know, the thing would have killed so many multitude of people. But glory be to God for her life, because she has laid down life for the people. And I thank God that she has done something great.
Just want to say, may her soul rest in perfect peace, that God should grant her eternal rest, and the family. I know they would have forgotten, though it's not easy, but the family, God should just give them peace of mind about it. And she has done a great job. She has done a good thing for us in Nigeria that is not being spread around. the Heavenly Father should just continue to give the family peaceful mind.
She's a great woman, because if it is not because of her, maybe the Ebola must have spread to all every corner of this nation. But we thank God for laying her life for us.
She has done great things, and the government of this nation will continually remembering her for great work she has done. And in the field of public health and the Ministry of Health, also I think they should give her kudos for what she has done. She has really tried.
Shade Adadevo died in the afternoon of 19th August 2014. She has been posthumously praised for preventing the Nigerian index case from leaving the hospital at the time of the diagnosis, thereby playing a key role in curbing the spread of the virus in Nigeria. She indeed laid down her life to save millions of people. She came like a shining flower in the morning. She died in her prime time, all in the name for her love for our country. There's a special tribute to Dr. Stella Ameyo Adadevo. May your gentle soul rest in perfect peace. From all of us, from CoreTV News, we say, Stella lives on.
She'll definitely be remembered for life, leaving a footmark on the sands of time. Away from there now, Chief of the Air Staff, Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, has assured Nigerians that the Air Force will soon develop weapons and logistic materials that will help put an end to insurgency in the country. Marshal Abubakar spoke with journalists on the sidelines of the 44th convocation ceremony of the Air Force Institute of Technology in Kaduna. He also charged officers and men of the Air Force Institute of Technology to embark on research that will produce modern-day welfare equipment. Our correspondent, Hamid Anebi, has details in this report presented from our studios. Well, we'll apologize for bringing you that report in our subsequent bulletins. The Nigerian Army has disapproved claims of an alleged massacre of civilians in Kukua, Gari, Yobe State. Local and international news reports citing eyewitness account, which has said about 150 people were either killed or drowned in an attempt to escape from Boko Haram insurgents. But the army insists through a Twitter handle that it was a fabricated story that cannot be substantiated. Meanwhile, Nigerian troops on Tuesday evening engaged insurgents in a gun battle in Goza. The army said in a statement that the terrorists were fleeing area bombardments in Sambisa forest in 7 pickup vans and motorcycle when the soldiers engaged them. It added that a number of the Boko Haram members were killed in the shootout while their vehicles and arms were destroyed. The army authorities say one of the pickup vans, a motorcycle and 2 AK-47 rifles as well as large stock of ammunition were recovered. And the Rivers State Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Abuja has rejected the request of 4 Progressive Congress governorship candidate Akoko Peterside to have election material used in the state transfer to Abuja for an inspection. Justice Mozo Pindiga-led 3-man panel dismissed the request on the grounds that the issue had been earlier dealt with. I recall that the tribunal had made an order on June 11 directing INEC to allow the petitioner to access the election materials comprising ballot papers and result sheets. Counsel to petitioner Akin Olujimi had filed a motion asking for the election materials to be moved from Port Harcourt to the INEC head office in
that is now going to stay execution of his order of inspection. I struck it out. But at the same time, in another, in response to another motion, it held that the issue of taking the documents from Port Harcourt to Abuja has already been dealt with in his order relating to inspection, and that therefore that particular motion was struck out.
Some of the rulings were deferred till the hearing of the substantive matter. So the tribunal held that that application by us has become overtaken by events. We agree with that. The other ruling they gave, which was not on in our favor, is the one for the transfer of materials
from Port Harcourt to Abuja. But there's no problem with that because INEC is a party in the matter. We have other means of compelling INEC to bring the materials that they use in the conduct of the election.
You're watching CoreTV Primetime News. We take a short break now. We'll be back in a moment with more stories. Stay with us.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
Talk to our husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you, you know, another election is coming.
But so, some people will stand for Yoruba land, will be strong man, we don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Some pundits believe that as long as the political system is driven by selected few, corruption may be difficult to fight.
You should be careful about what you say.
I am not the only politician. Even if I've wronged anyone, it's time to forgive me.
Political Arena every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. and a repeat broadcast every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m.
You've been watching CoreTV Primetime News live from our Lagos studios. If you just joined us, a reminder of our top stories now. President Muhammadu Buhari has charged the Federal Ministry of Health to sustain the current level of vigilance, especially in the fight against Ebola virus. Lagos State Governor Kyomi Ambode approved the termination of concession granted by the Lagos State Development and Property Corporation. CoreTV News remembers Stella Ameyo Adadevo for her service in preventing the spread of Ebola virus. All our top stories can be found on our social media platforms, facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow at CoreTV News NG. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space, then news. And our United Nations says about 5 million people are directly affected by the activities of insurgents in northeast Nigeria and are in need of humanitarian assistance. It added that at least 1.5 million persons have been displaced from their homes. To salvage the situation, the UN Deputy Humanitarian Coordinator, Mohammed Safieddine, says over $20 billion is required. He spoke at a press conference in commemoration of the 2015 World Humanitarian Day in Abuja.
Today we have 37 countries going through natural disasters or man-made disasters. Regrettably, Nigeria is one of those 37 countries. While there are 1.5 million people displaced from their homes, more than 90% of these people are right now being cared for, being supported by their fellow Nigerians in the Northeast. It's a story of solidarity. It's a story of sharing resources among the Nigerians in the Northeast with each other.
The National Coordinator of Odua People's Congress, Gani Adams, has called on all tiers of government and well-meaning individuals to pay more attention to the plight of the less privileged in the society. Adams made the call at this year's Nigerian Humanitarian Summit. Our correspondent Abiola Oluwole has details.
Statistics show that Nigeria is not immune from over 200 million people affected by natural and humanly caused disasters globally. Gani Adams says continual effort from government and relevant stakeholders in the area of infrastructure will assist in ameliorating the challenges of the less privileged in the society.
What we are doing here is a signal to the individual and the government. We have to take care of our people who have problems during the war or crisis. There is no country, no matter how peaceful they are, there will be a certain time when we have crisis in their country, we know how to manage it.
In his lecture titled Improving the Living Conditions of the Poor, Less Privileged and Physically Challenged During Crisis in Nigeria, Alfred Agrifine of North American University, Benin Republic, tasked the federal government to take a holistic approach at taking succor to the poor in the society. The World Humanitarian Day is set aside by the United Nations. Abating the rising poverty level globally remains a mystery for policymakers to provide solutions to. Abiola Oluwole, CoreTV News, Lagos.
And now the federal government is to unveil policies targeted at enhancing investment opportunities for Nigerians in the diaspora. This is one of the activities lined up for the 2015 Diaspora Day celebration slated for August 25, 2015. Permanent Secretary in the Office of the Secretary to Government of the Federation, Ibukun Odunsote, made this known while briefing journalists on the Diaspora Day conference with the theme Diaspora and Nigeria Change Agenda.
Investment opportunities available to Nigerians in the diaspora so that our nation may have an all-inclusive national development. On that first day, 4 official areas will be discussed extensively, namely, 1, the available support for return of nationals and pilot diaspora investment projects, returnee diasporans and diaspora investment projects. 2, we'll be looking at how the nation can leverage on diaspora community to sustain our technological development. 3, we'll be looking at how the nation can also mobilize the diaspora for investment and create jobs in Nigeria. And finally, the 4th one, discussion on how the key agencies of the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment can support the targeted diaspora investment in Nigeria.
And now Taraba State government has issued a warning to the warring communities of Jukun, Fulani and Tiv in Wukari to stop what they describe as senseless killing in the name of protecting tribe or religion. Governor Dixon Ishako will visited the area of an interactive meeting with the leadership of the 3 communities, emphasized on genuine forgiveness and reconciliation. This, he noted, is necessary for an atmosphere of development to set in. A correspondent, Udrak Godwin, has details.
Wukari is one of the areas in Taraba where ethno-religious crises have created division among the people. This is why the state governor is keen on ensuring peace reigns in the community. Addressing a gathering of people in the area, Governor Ishaku said he does not want his administration to be in the news for the wrong reasons. He advocated dialogue as the only genuine means of resolving crises and called on religious and community leaders to ensure peaceful coexistence among the people.
What makes us human beings superior creatures to animals is our ability to identify the differences and amicably resolve them without necessarily wasting lives.
For their part, religious leaders as well as youths and elders from the area hope the latest peace initiative will bring lasting peace, pave way for the return of displaced persons and a return of economic activities.
The village head, the ward head, the district head. I request that Your Excellency will collaborate with the local government and the traditional council, under whom are these officials, to maintain peace and order within Ukari town and in other villages.
Earlier, the governor paid a courtesy visit to the Akoka of Ukari, Dr. Shekaru Angio Asaibi II, where he sued for forgiveness and tolerance among the people. He also pointed out that the governments of Benue, Nasarawa and Plateau State are collaborating with his administration to end the spite crisis in the border communities. Udwa Godwin, CoreTV News, Jalingo.
Away from there now to Kwara State, where the State Polytechnic and its environs have over the week experienced reenactment of the gory days of cultist activities, and no fewer than 7 lives were reportedly lost to the fracas between a cult group known as IA Fraternity and Aya Group. The police and the school management has been locked in word of words. Correspondent Rashid has the rest of the story.
Youth leadership tussle between Aye and Aya Confraternity got to the peak during the build-up to the Students' Union election of Kwara State Polytechnic Ilorin, which no doubt has broken the peace enjoyed in recent times. No fewer than 7 cultists have been reportedly dead, with the first death recorded in the school. Since then, it's been attacks and counterattacks, while the police is also on arrest spree of suspected cultists. The police stressed that more than 40 suspects has been arrested for cultism and other related offences.
We discovered that was a court matter, crisis between courts. So we now started our investigation, and in the course of investigation, some people were arrested, and we've arrested, in totality, about 43 suspects were arrested, and yesterday, 14 of them, the house proven case to answer were charged to court, and today again 12 have been charged to court, and we are continuing with our investigation and arrest. But as of now, calm has returned to the area.
While reacting to the arrest of suspects and strike of the cultists in the school, the institution management denies any death and clash of cult groups on campus, either during examinations or screening exercise ahead of the Students' Union election.
We wish to tell the general public and the media that it is not true that there was a cult clash on our campus. The 2015-2016 Student Union government election screening exercise was successful and was witnessed by the security agents, the SSS, the police, the civil defense, and a copy of the result of the screening exercise was copied to all security agents. The exercise ended peacefully.
The institution's students' leadership also supports the claim of the management.
Firstly, I just want to react to the rumors going on town, because nothing of such happened in my campus, like death of students. We never witnessed any death of our students, because as the president of the student union government, I can gladly say I can identify all my students. I know if any of them as 4 victims. I would never in any way come and hide under any umbrella not to disclose if anything of such happened.
While the school management denies any mishap on campus, the school has been shut down, while the Students' Union government election has been put on hold, thus creating more puzzles than the eyes can meet. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ilorin.
And now the governor of Plateau State, Simon Lalong, has reiterated his desire to recover all the looted funds from the state under the past administration. Lalong accused the former governor, Jonathan Jang, of deception by stating his government have left billions of naira for the new government, only to discover 93 million naira in the state government coffers. And now the investigation into the murder of the late Catholic priest Dennis Oswago in Owerri, the Imo State capital, has revealed that he is just one of the several cases. CoreTV News Imo correspondent Ajibade Officer, who has been following the story, has more in this package.
While the police have vowed to ensure that the killers of the late Father Dennis Oswago do not go unpunished, many are skeptical. With this in mind, CoreTV News went to the State Police Command, where he met Andrew Ewerem, Police Public Relations Officer. For Ewerem, this is one case that will be pursued to its logical conclusion. He also expressed his worry over the sudden upsurge in the number of murder cases witnessed in the city and the state in the past few months, which he puts at 6.
There was a killing at Orange Room. Also the killing at FMC premises. We cannot say that those crimes, of course, the police are not to be blamed. There are cases of murder. There are cases of murder which, in fact, nobody should be apportioned blame, but we should begin to look at what I may call a moral decay in society. As a moral decay, people seem to have no sacredness of human life. Again, no respect for human life. At every slightest provocation, they kill.
He, however, says the police will rely on useful tips provided by members of the public in cracking the crime.
Gone is the extent the investigation has taken us. Incidentally, the priest was murdered on a bush path, not on a major road, and there were no security gadgets to monitor who and who that did the act. Police were not there at the time he was murdered. We are depending on intelligence from members of the public, having expanded our intelligence network to be able to get those who are behind the killing. We depend on the general public to give police information to be able to apprehend those behind the act.
While the police continue to work towards solving the crime, the Catholic Church in the state has also joined the police with prayers to expose the killers of the late Reverend Father Dennis Oswago. Ajibade Awofeso, CoreTV News, Owerri.
And away from there now, immediate past governor of Lagos State, Babatunde Fashola, has stressed the need to conduct an accurate exercise in 2016 when the next national census is due. Fashola said this on Tuesday while addressing an audience at the public presentation of his 3 books in Lagos, noting that this is needful in order to ensure progress and achievement of desired goal in national development. He also expressed regret that in the life of the nation, her leaders have consistently failed to conduct an accurate head count. Fashola further advised that based on the fact that those who conducted the last head count in the country have owned up that the figures were falsified, the onus was now on the nation to ensure that next year's exercise will be the right for the nation to make progress.
I think that we can fairly say that we have recorded an accurate data of the number of people that we are. And from the people who did our first census, who are now credited with owning up that the figures were falsified, the onus is upon us to get it right in 2016. I say this because data, in my view, is important. If the work of government is to provide service to people, its efficiency will be determined by its knowledge of how many people need service. And therefore, without accurate census figures, it may seem that we are not determined to head in the path of development.
And our wife of Ekiti State Governor, Shiton Fauci, has donated over 500,000 naira to settle the hospital bills of indigent patients at the state specialist hospital in Ikara-Ekiti. Fauci, who presented checks of 50,000 naira each to 10 patients and 40,000 and 10,000 to other 2, said the gesture was part of the Fauci's government to give qualitative health care to needy patients in the state. She promised that with the maximum support of her husband, more persons will benefit from the program. You're watching the CoreTV Primetime News. Still to come after the break, President Muhammadu Buhari has assured indigenous company operating in Nigeria's oil and gas sector of his full support. That's in business.
Is it crazy or autocracy? Or what type of crazy is that? Except crazy.
News making the headlines.
Black Maria is to carry criminals, trading looters that are in government today.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
Slap you in the face. Excuse me, don't put words into my mouth.
Whatever it is that will bring our military to disrepute, I say to hell with it.
Core Digest.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
Every weekday, we bring all of these together and take them to the court of public opinion.
Everybody has a right in Nigeria.
Where you are the judge.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
And in business now, President Muhammadu Buhari has assured indigenous companies operating in Nigeria's oil and gas sector of the full support and protection of his administration. At a meeting with members of the Independent Petroleum Producers Association in the Presidential Villa, President Buhari commended their determination to increase the participation of Nigerians in the country's oil industry and promised to do all within his powers to address the challenges which they currently face. The president then directed the management of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation to work more closely with the indigenous oil producers to resolve the problems which they enumerated to him. The president particularly assured the Nigerian oil producers that the present administration will take appropriate actions to maintain and enhance security in their areas of operation, noting that better security will help to lower production costs, which he said has become unnecessarily high in the country. And our Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has said some of the past policies and planning, including budgeting of government, did not reflect the needs and the conditions of the majority of the people in Nigeria, who have become disempowered in the process. Speaking today at a courtesy visit by members of the Alumni Association of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies at the State House, Abuja, and the Vice President said the important thing now is how policies could address the need of the people. According to him, governments have not been accountable to the people. Otherwise, policies should have roots in the real conditions of the people. He observed that some past planning, policy formulation and budget were not accountable to the people, stressing that in the past there have been policies that don't seem to have solutions that truly reflect the understanding of the question of poverty in Nigeria. He challenged the notion that a country can be described as rich when about 2/3 of its people are extremely poor. And now a civil society group, the Coalition of Human Rights Defenders on West Day, faulted Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel for his request to convert debts owed by the state to federal government bonds, describing such practice as amounting to failure of governance in the state. Emmanuel had, in a letter to the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly on Tuesday, requested an approval to convert debts owed and obtained from commercial banks in the country by the former Governor Godswill Akpabio's administration to federal government's bond. It was gathered that the governor in the letter said the arrangement centered on restructuring commercial bank loans into federal government bonds as a measure to restore fiscal stability to the state. And now Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode has approved the termination of the concession granted by the Lagos State Development and Property Corporation to Afriland Properties for the development of the Falama Shopping Center in Ikoyi, Lagos. In a statement by his Chief Press Secretary Habib Haruna on Wednesday, the governor said the decision was informed by the recent discovery that the recent concession was grossly detrimental to the interests of the people of the state. According to him, only 50 million naira was paid by the concessionaire, Afriland Properties, for a 50-year lease of the property belonging to the government. He said the state government, as custodian of the interests of Lagosians, was committed to the restructuring of the LSDPC to ensure it yielded positive capital returns to the state government for the ultimate benefit of the people. And now about 500 workers shut down the Calabar office of the Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company over the welfare. The aggrieved workers vowed that the office will remain closed until their grievances were met. The workers carried placards with inscriptions explaining the rationale behind the workers' action. The state chairman of the National Union of Electricity Employees, Asukorita, who spoke alongside his colleague in the private sector arm of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Kalu Imong, accused the management of PHEDC of failing to look into workers' plight. Imong also stated specifically that the workers were not happy with the management because it had failed to compensate the family of one of their colleagues who has been electrocuted in a Yaku local government area of the state while on duty. Effort to reach the business management of Calabar office of PHDC, Emeka Otegi, failed as he neither pick calls nor respond to text messages on his mobile at the time of filing this report. And outside Nigeria now, police have released a sketch of the main suspect, a man in a yellow T-shirt who was filmed by security cameras leaving a back park of the shrine. Police later said two other people seen on CCTV were being treated as suspect. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-ocha has described the incident as police have released a sketch of the main suspect, a man in the worst ever attack on Thailand. Police Chief Samyons Pumpamong told the Associated Press news agency that the shrine attack was the work of more than one person. Although the main suspect in the footage has not been identified, an arrest warrant for him has been issued by Bangkok Southern Criminal Court. It accuses an unnamed foreigner of conspiracy to commit premeditated murder and weapons offenses. A reward of 1 million over 28,000 US dollars had been offered for information leading to his arrest. And now let's get to sports stories now. And in sports tonight, the list of foreign players invited by Super Eagles handler Sunday Olise has had many Nigerians within and outside the football circle buzzing. As some football analysts in the FCT say, the gaffer's list contradicts his earlier statement on his preferred choice of players. There are, however, others who express confidence in Olise's selection, especially the opportunity that has been given to relatively unknown players to excel.
I knew that definitely it's not like he was going to come up with a fresh set of players. He was still going to make use of some of the people that Coach Stephen Keshi left behind. I'm not too shocked. But my only question is, why make statements you can't defend? You said you get players in credible leagues. Some Nigerians don't even know the name of the Slovakian league or the Danish league or the Norwegian league, but our players are there, perhaps rotting on the bench, perhaps playing, and they are there. And we are trying to promote homegrown talents. I personally feel so sad not to see Egbola Salami on that list, and I really don't know the explanation behind Odion Igalo's exemption from the list. He put up a great performance against Everton. He started the game 90 minutes against West Brom, the goalless draw. Imagine we had a Nichebe on the bench, but we had a new lad who played for 90 minutes. I really don't understand what Coach Sunday Olise is trying to achieve here.
And now camp prosecutors in Nicaragua say they have charged former Nicaraguan Football Federation Chief Julio Rocha with money laundering and corruption According to a report, Rocha was FIFA's development officer from 2012 and before that served on Nicaragua's Olympic Committee. He was one of 7 senior FIFA officials detained in Switzerland in May over corruption allegations. Rocha, who is a Nicaraguan national, last week agreed to be extradited to his home country. He is still in detention in Switzerland and can only be extradited if the U.S., which has also charged him, agrees. Swiss justice officials said that in order for Rocha to be taken to Nicaragua, the U.S. will have to waive its extradition request, which predates the Nicaraguan one. Prosecutors in Nicaragua said they had evidence suggesting Rocha received over $100,000 kickback from the company with which he had signed a broadcast right agreement. You've been watching CoreTV Primetime News. Just before we go tonight, to recap of our major headline. We told you that President Muhammadu Buhari has charged the Federal Ministry of Health to sustain the current level of vigilance, especially in the fight against Ebola virus. We also told you that Lagos State Governor Kiwumi Ambode approved the termination of concession granted by the Lagos State Development and Property Corporation. And finally tonight, CoreTV News remembers Stella Ameyo Adadevo for her service in preventing the spread of Ebola virus. And that's it tonight. Thank you for watching. I am Frank Komalape. On behalf of the entire news crew, have a good night rest.